I'm Bev Adams. I own an independent paper crafting business showcasing products from Stampin' Up. I made this cute card with products from Stampin' Up. I sell these products and also a few items to make crafting more convenient. I have the free detailed directions for this project on my website. You'll also find links for the products I used. Just click the links for the products that you would like and you'll be taken to my online store at Stampin' Up. You'll see where to find all of that at the end of this video, so don't worry about taking notes. It's time to put stamps, ink, and paper together. I'm using In Symmetry, and it coordinates with the Symmetrical Stems border punch. Flirty Flamingo Gold Metallic Ribbon. My ink pads are Misty Moonlight, Flirty Flamingo, Just Jade, and Bumblebee. 3 of these are the in colors that will be retiring soon, and I will miss them all very much. I'm also using Genial Gems. I am using my friend Gidget's Bow Maker, and so I'll have a link for that on my website too. My cardstock. I'm using basic white, so I've got the medium envelope, Misty Moonlight. This is 4 1/4 by 11, scored at 5 1/2. I have basic white. This card is 3 3/4 inch square. This piece is 4 by 5 1/4, and this will go on the inside. I have a piece of Just Jade that's the same 4 by 5 1/4, and then I have some Flirty Flamingo that's just a tiny bit smaller than that. It's 3 7/8 by 5 1/8. This symmetrical stamping is a Stamparatus project, and the In Symmetry stamp set works perfectly for that because they are symmetrical. But you could really do the same project with other stamp sets. I'm going to just punch this Flirty Flamingo right in the center, so I'm got it centered and pressed. I love this punch, and you can certainly punch out leaves and use these pieces, but in this case I'm just going to use the cutout. Let me clear out some of this stuff, and I'm going to go ahead and put the Just Jade layer on the card front. And the punched Flirty Flamingo, and I just need to avoid putting adhesive where the holes are. And this is a very small border, but I like that the Just Jade peeked through. And of course I wasn't supposed to put that on just yet. I was looking at that ribbon thinking, oh, so I will just lift that up. Sometimes if you can get it before it's had a chance to really set in there, it's easier. You can also use the heat tool to soften any adhesive and lift it up. So I'll just stick my silicone mat underneath so it doesn't adhere down. Set that aside. I'm going to bring in my Stamparatus. The first thing I want to do is draw a line diagonally, so from corner to corner, and we can actually start from here. And because I've got magnets on here, I'm not using my metal ruler, but the magnets will jump to it if they have a chance. And from this corner, so if you get the right corners, you're going to be just going from corner to corner as you draw the line across here. And that gives you a center for your symmetry. And then you're going to put your card on, and you're going to line up your corners on the diagonal lines. Now once you figure that out, you can put a dot in or a mark in any of those corners, and it'll make it easier for you to go right to that again. I made a lot of practice patterns, different sizes, different patterns, until I decided on one I liked pretty well. If you have a stamp like this, it's really easy to make a wreath to go around. But I wanted to make use of the corners. I'm going to go ahead and place that and decide where I'm going to put my various stamps. And I found that for this pattern, if I make use of the corners, that's going to be a very good thing. So I'm going to put this leaf in a corner, and I'm putting both points of this leaf on that line. So I'm going to close this and pick that up. Boy, I need to clean my plate, don't I? And then I'm going to stamp this. And I found that if you get ink on your plate, you want to clean that before you close your plate. Otherwise, you're likely to get ink on your magnet, and then you end up with problems. And having this here is a good reference for when you position your next piece. So I'm going to go ahead and put my cardstock in there and stamp. And then I'm going to turn it. It doesn't matter which way you turn it, but putting all four corners on the lines again. I want to compare these two pieces. This is actually the piece that I made as a sample for positioning. For this one I used 2 sets of leaves. For this one I only used 1. And I used 1 because it reduces the number of times you have to go around your circuit here. I'm going to position these 2 leaves so that they stamp right below here. And if you want to do it a second time, you actually want to go way up so that it's actually touching. And if you're separate, but if you're only doing 1, you want to give a little bit more space, I think. And go ahead and pick this up. And I want to see if I've centered it on that line. And I can see that the base of the leaves is right at that corner. And I can position this straighter if I put this here and then use the grid lines to make sure that I'm kind of even and straight. So I'm going to pick that up again. Sometimes when you're picking up the stamps, it kind of sticks to the paper, especially if you don't have ink on there. So I just need to make sure my paper's flat and in the corner. And now I can stamp both of these leaves at the same time. And rotate around. Ink, stamp. Oops, I've got my magnet right in the way. Rotate. Now, ink and clean up my ink blobber over here. Now I have one more, and if I rotate around, I will actually be double stamping this one. And I don't want to do that because if I don't have it positioned exactly right, it might look funny. So I'm going to just put a sticky note over that stamp there because I just want to get this one. And I'm just going to ink the double stamp. Go ahead and clean these. When you clean it, you want to be gentle so you don't move those around. If you're going to do some more stamps, you can just leave those there. You could switch it to the other side. But I have lots of plates, so I'm going to just actually put a second plate on here. I can go ahead and stamp my center one. So I'm going to put this stamp right in the center. So I can put this flower, and I want the dips to be at the top and the sides. So I'm going to put the center of the flower right on those crossed lines, and the center of the petals right on the vertical and horizontal lines. And pick it up. Make sure this is flat. And I'm going to stamp with Flirty Flamingo. And like I said, it's kind of helpful. And I didn't do those double stamps, and I meant to. I can put that Flirty Flamingo right in the middle, and I see that I don't have it positioned perfectly. Get a better image, I think. Okay, and now stamping on my actual piece, cleaning up my extra ink. I should use the Stampin' Spots, I think. And stamp right in the middle. Next I'm going to be doing this kind of large flower. And I want that positioned right on this line, pretty close to the center. And pick it up. And this, I see that this is going to be a little bit different than my other one, so that's good. I am going to go ahead and ink and stamp and I don't care if I didn't get a perfect stamp, I just want to have that position there. So I'll put this on the marks. And this time I do want to get a nice stamped image. Clean the edge, stamp, and it always surprises me that I think I'm getting it right real close, and it's not as close as I think it is. So I'm going to stamp all 4 directions with this one. Next there's this flower, and I kind of want to get how far, I kind of want to see where I'm going to put that, and so I can see where on this position, so about there, and Make sure that that's right on the line. Pick it up, switch to Bumblebee ink. And stamp. And rotate. And stamp. And then I have one more that I want to put on. There is a small flower, and I'm going to stamp it right over this one. Now, let me see if you can see. This flower has points that are between my diagonal lines. And this stamp has rounded petals. So I'm going to want my rounded petals going right up and down, and I want it centered right on that point. So I can pick that up and switch to Misty Moonlight. Oh, Misty Moonlight, I will miss you. And Just Jade. Ink and stamp. And I think that is done. So let's go back to our card. So I'm going to go ahead and put this on my card front, centered on the top of this card. And remember, I've got my silicone mat in here, holding this down. Very skinny borders. And I want to put my ribbon on. You can certainly wrap your ribbon around here and tie a bow if you'd like, but I find that that Gidget's Bow Maker works really nice. And if you are using if you're just tying a bow, you will need about 16 inches. With Gidget's Bow Maker, I need 10. So I'm going to go ahead and cut, and I am cutting diagonal. I'm going to wrap around the posts of the bow maker, and I'm going to put one side over the other. Doesn't matter which one you put over, but the one that's over the top, it's going to go down and between the posts, behind the other ribbon, over the top between the posts, and you're just going to tie a knot. And then you slide this up over the bow maker, and it makes a beautiful bow every time. And I'm going to put one glue dot right in the middle. I don't want to cover up much of this white cardstock, so I put it just kind of under the white a little bit. That's where I want my knot, my bow. And you can use any kind of adhesive on the back, but because I've got my because it's already attached, I'm just going to use glue dots here. But I do want them pretty much right behind there. So then I can wrap my ends. And have the bow exactly where I want it. I do want to put a layer for the inside, so I'm going to get out the Flirty Flamingo and stamp the large half flower near the bottom of the card inside. And my greeting, I think I'm going to use Misty Moonlight. You could also use Just Jade. And I'm using Hey Friend. This would also be a good birthday card, a thank you card, any kind of greeting. And then I'm using Genial Gems. Genial Gems are not the exact color. I've forgotten what color they are, but because they are kind of clear and have some gold, I think that they go just fine with this card. So I'm going to put a dot in the middle, and you could really put them anywhere, but I am kind of putting them on the, but you do want to be symmetrical, I think, with this card, and not put those random designs. And maybe I'll fill in this area over here. Lots of gems. And that's it. Here is the web address for this project, where you'll find the free directions and links for the products I used. You can click individual products or the Add All to the cart. You will be able to remove products you don't need or add more products. I have lots of resources on my website. Most of them are free. It's easy to miss some of those resources or to get lost exploring. Let me take you on a quick tour. Just under the banner image are 6 links. Under Shop, you'll find links to the products from Bev, shopping strategies, my frequent shopping points, and a sampling from the clearance rack. Under Inspiration, you can link to scroll all of my projects since 2011. The products may be retired, but you may be inspired by a layout, color combination, or a technique. I have the basics, where I've written about stamps, ink and paper, cutting, adhesives, and my favorite tools. You'll find a link to Techie Tips and an easy link back to my latest post. Click on Getting Organized, and you'll find some of my resources for stamp case slips, product labels, large labels for designer series paper, and more. Case inserts for dies, embellishments, and anything I think might fit in a stamp case, including ink refills. You'll also find color tools and charts, a practically free stamp pad storage solution, tabs and a quick reference for the annual catalog, and plans for toolkits. I have a video of my craft wall and more. Click on Evernote Current Products and you can learn how to share my notebook. This notebook has a note for every current product from Stampin' Up! It allows you to search by color, image, product type, word, phrase, or event, and more. I include French, German, and Dutch names and numbers when available, and the prices for all the markets. Evernote synchronizes on your phone, tablet, and or your desktop or laptop computer, so you can look through the Stampin' Up! Catalog from anywhere, anytime. You can copy my notes for the products you own so you can find just what you're looking for. When products retire, I move them to the Retired Products Notebook, which I also share, and I host a notebook for Paper Pumpkin. Click on Sip Together and then let's stamp to come stamp with me or join my Sip Together team. There's also a link to learn a bit about me. The sitemap will help you navigate all these links from one page. And there are quick links along the side of my page. Shop Now takes you to my online store at Stampin' Up! You'll see the current host code. It would be a great help to me if you use that if you are ordering less than $150. You can click on the current catalogs to page through them online. And I've got a link to a color lab to get color combinations. And then there are my links to my 5 most recent posts. Thank you very much for stopping by and hope to see you soon.